Took my son camping, came home to find my wife in our bed with her coworker. She tried to blame me. So I filed for divorce, took custody, and now she's left raising someone else's baby while I'm raising our son. I'm Grant, 34, and I work as an agricultural extension officer. Basically, I help farmers implement sustainable farming practices across 3 counties. It's demanding work with a lot of travel to rural areas, but I've always made sure my family came first. My soon-to-be ex-wife Bethany is 32, works as an occupational therapist at a rehabilitation center downtown. We've been married 9 years, together for 12. Our son Owen just turned 7 last month. Last Friday morning, I surprised Owen by waking him up early for a camping trip I'd been planning for weeks. Just us guys, fishing, hiking, roasting marshmallows, the whole deal. Bethany seemed thrilled we were going, kept saying how she needed a weekend to herself to catch up on rest. She'd been working extra shifts lately, or so she claimed. Even packed us extra sandwiches and kissed us both goodbye at the door. The camping trip was perfect. Owen caught his first fish by himself, we saw 3 deer on our morning hike, and Saturday night we lay on our backs counting satellites passing overhead. He asked me if Mom would come next time, and I promised we'd all go together for his birthday. I thought I was being a good father, giving him these memories. Turns out I was just conveniently out of the way. Sunday afternoon, we pulled into our driveway around 3 p.m. Owen was exhausted but buzzing with excitement, couldn't wait to tell his mom about the fish. I grabbed our gear while he ran ahead to the front door. That's when I heard him call back, "Dad, why is Mr. Dustin's car here?" Dustin Reeves. Bethany's coworker from the rehabilitation center. They worked on the same therapy team, often had the same shifts. I'd met him at a few work events, younger guy, maybe 29, always seemed nervous around me. Bethany had mentioned him occasionally, how he was still learning the ropes and she was mentoring him. My gut knew before my brain caught up. I told Owen to wait in the truck, said I forgot something inside and would be right back. He was too excited about showing his mom the pictures on my phone to question it. I handed him my phone and walked through my own front door like a stranger. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Bethany's purse on the entry table, her work badge next to it even though she wasn't supposed to work weekends anymore. 2 wine glasses on the coffee table, bottle empty. Her laugh from upstairs, that specific laugh I hadn't heard directed at me in months. I walked up those stairs mechanically. Each step deliberate, controlled. The bedroom door was half open. Our bedroom. Our bed. The bed where Owen had crawled between us during thunderstorms. Where we'd opened Christmas presents together as a family. She was on top of him when I walked in. My wife of 9 years, straddling another man in our marital bed, her back to the door. Dustin saw me first, his eyes went wide with terror. Bethany turned, saw me, and scrambled off him so fast she nearly fell off the bed. "Grant. You weren't supposed to be back until tonight." Those were her first words. Not "I'm sorry" or "this isn't what it looks like" or even "let me explain." Just irritation that I'd disrupted her schedule. I didn't say anything. I pulled out my phone, my old work phone from my pocket, since Owen had my regular one, and started taking pictures. Both of them, the bed, the clothes scattered around our room, everything. Dustin was frantically trying to cover himself with our sheets while Bethany grabbed for her robe. "Stop. What are you doing? Grant, please, let's talk about this." I kept taking pictures. Methodical. Comprehensive. Evidence. "This is your fault." She actually had the audacity to say. "You're never here. Always traveling to farms, always focused on work or Owen. When was the last time you even looked at me? When was the last time we were intimate?" I finally spoke. Thursday morning before I left for the Johnston farm assessment. "We were intimate Thursday morning. I told you I loved you. You said it back." Her face crumbled because she knew I was right. I have this thing about always kissing her goodbye, always saying those words. Even when things had been strained lately, I never stopped. "Get dressed," I said to both of them. "You have 5 minutes to get out of my house." "Your house?" Bethany's panic shifted to anger. "This is my home too. You can't just..." "Owen is in the truck," I cut her off. "Your son is sitting in the truck waiting to tell you about his weekend. You have 5 minutes to leave before he comes in here and sees this." That shut her up. Even in her selfishness, she knew the damage this would do to Owen. Dustin was already pulling on his clothes, wouldn't even look at me. Pathetic. This was the man she threw away our marriage for, a coward who couldn't even face the husband of the woman he was sleeping with. I went back downstairs, grabbed a few trash bags from under the sink, and started filling them with Bethany's immediate necessities from the bathroom and closet while they dressed. I wasn't gentle about it. When I came back down, they were both in the living room. Dustin practically ran to his car without a word. Bethany stood there, trying to summon tears that wouldn't come. Where am I supposed to go? I don't care. Your mother lives 20 minutes away. Or maybe Dustin has room at his place. That's not my problem anymore. You're seriously going to throw me out? Over one mistake? I laughed. Actually laughed. One mistake? Bethany, his car is here. You sent us off on a camping trip. You were in our bed in the middle of the afternoon. This was planned. She tried to argue, to manipulate, to guilt. I stopped listening. I handed her the garbage bags, told her my lawyer would be in contact, and that she could arrange to get the rest of her things with supervision. Then I watched her drive away in the car I'd helped her pick out 2 years ago when her old one died. Owen asked where Mom went when I got back to the truck. I told him she had an emergency at work and would be staying at Grandma's for a few days. He accepted it easily. She'd been working late so much recently that her absence wasn't unusual. That realization hurt almost as much as the betrayal itself. I drove us to my brother Paul's house. Paul's a crane operator, works construction, and has been through his own divorce 3 years ago. He took one look at my face and told Owen to go play video games in the basement with his cousins. Then he poured me 3 fingers of whiskey and let me tell him everything. Monday morning, 8 a.m. sharp, I was at my lawyer's office. Ms. Rodriguez came highly recommended from Paul's divorce. She's the kind of lawyer who looks matronly and sweet until she gets into the courtroom, then transforms into a legal pit bull. I showed her the pictures, gave her the timeline, and asked for 2 things: divorce as quickly as possible and primary custody of Owen. Infidelity doesn't usually affect custody, she warned me. Unless we can prove it negatively impacted your son. Start documenting everything, she said. Every interaction, every text, every email. Get your finances in order. Don't move out of the house, we'll file for exclusive occupancy. And Mr. Morrison? Don't let anger make you stupid. Every decision from now on gets filtered through one question: what's best for Owen? That was 6 days ago. Since then, Bethany has called 47 times. I haven't answered once. All communication goes through lawyers. She's texted novels about how sorry she is, how it just happened, how Dustin means nothing. She showed up at Paul's house. Paul's girlfriend Ronnie told her to leave before she called the cops. I've found credit card charges going back 8 months. Hotels during lunch hours. Expensive restaurants on days she was supposedly working late. Cash withdrawals that don't match any household expenses. Owen has started asking more questions. I've been honest but age appropriate. Mom and Dad are having adult problems, but we both love you very much. Dustin hasn't contacted either of us. Complete radio silence. His LinkedIn shows he's still employed at the rehabilitation center. The kicker? I pulled the security footage from our doorbell camera. I'd forgotten we even had it. Bethany insisted on installing it last year for safety. It shows Dustin arriving at 11 a.m. Saturday morning, less than 24 hours after Owen and I left. She had him in our bed while our son's breakfast dishes were still in the sink. But here's what really gets me. There's footage from 3 weeks ago, a Tuesday afternoon when I was at a sustainable agriculture conference 2 hours away. Dustin's car in our driveway from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. A month before that, same thing. 6 weeks before that, again. Always when I was traveling for work, always during Owen's school hours. This wasn't a mistake. It was a pattern. A deliberate, calculated pattern of bringing another man into our home, our bed, while I was working to provide for our family. I've spent the last 6 nights at Paul's, lying awake thinking about all the signs I missed. The new lingerie that I never saw her wear. The sudden interest in yoga and getting toned. The way she'd guard her phone, take calls in another room. The decreased intimacy that she somehow blamed on me despite my attempts to maintain our connection. But you know what? I'm done feeling guilty. I'm done questioning myself. I was a good husband. I'm a good father. I came home from work every day to that house. I coached Owen's little league team despite my travel schedule. I maintained the house, managed our investments, planned family vacations she'd suddenly be too tired to fully participate in. Tomorrow, Bethany gets served at work. At the rehabilitation center where she plays professional while sleeping with her coworker. Ms. Rodriguez says Tennessee is an at-fault divorce state, and adultery is grounds. The evidence is overwhelming. We're also requesting exclusive use of the marital home, primary custody, and child support. I'm not vindictive by nature. But I'm also not a doormat. She made her choices. Now she gets to live with the consequences. Update coming when I have more to share. For now, I'm focusing on Owen and making sure he knows none of this is his fault. He asked me tonight if we could go camping again next month. I promised we would. Just us guys, under the stars, building memories that don't include betrayal. Update 1, 2 weeks later. Update, she got served at work and everything exploded. First, thank you to everyone who reached out with support and advice. Especially those who warned me about potential false accusations and told me to never be alone with her. You probably saved my life. Bethany was served at work as planned. According to my lawyer, she had to be escorted to the break room by her supervisor because she became hysterical in front of patients. She called me 23 times in the next hour. Then her mother called. Then her sister. Then mutual friends started texting. I didn't respond to any of them. That evening, she showed up at the house with her mother. I'd already changed the locks, legally, with my lawyer's guidance, since I had exclusive occupancy temporarily. She stood on the lawn screaming that I was abusive, controlling, that I'd isolated her from her support system. I called the police and recorded everything from inside. The officers made her leave after warning her about trespassing. Then the real games began. First came the love bombing. Flowers delivered to my work with cards about remembering our vows. Text messages about how she'd already started therapy, how Dustin meant nothing, how she was just lost and confused. She even sent a handwritten letter to Paul's house talking about our early dating days, trying to manipulate me with nostalgia. When that didn't work, the threats started. She'd take Owen away. She'd tell everyone I was abusive. She'd ruin my career. She'd make sure I never saw my son again. All via text, thankfully, which went straight to my lawyer. Then she tried playing victim to our friend group. Posted on social media about surviving emotional neglect and finding herself again after years of isolation. Several people bought it initially until I selectively shared some doorbell camera footage of Dustin's car in our driveway. Funny how quickly the narrative changed when people saw timestamp proof. But here's where it gets interesting. I hired a forensic accountant on Ms. Rodriguez's recommendation. Turns out Bethany had opened a separate checking account 4 months ago. Small deposits here and there, nothing huge, but totaling about $6,000. She was planning something. Whether it was leaving me or just maintaining her affair, she was definitely planning. We also pulled her work schedule versus her pay stubs. She hadn't been working extra shifts. In fact, she'd been calling in sick regularly, using her PTO. Those extra shifts were lies. Every single one. The custody evaluation started last week. Owen met with the evaluator, a pleasant woman named Dr. Keys who specializes in child psychology. I wasn't in the room, but Owen told me afterwards that she asked about his daily routine, who helps with homework, who takes him to practice, who he talks to when he's sad. Then Owen dropped a bomb I didn't see coming. I told her about the times Mom's friend Mr. Dustin was at our house when you were at work, Dad. Was that okay? My heart stopped. What times, buddy? Sometimes when Mom picked me up early from school because I felt sick. Mr. Dustin would be there. They'd send me to my room to rest, but I wasn't really sick. Mom said it was our secret game. I kept my face neutral, told him he did great telling the truth, and immediately called Ms. Rodriguez. Using a child to facilitate an affair? Making him keep secrets from his other parent? Dr. Keys would have a field day with that. Meanwhile, Dustin had gone complete ghost. Deleted all social media, wouldn't respond to Bethany's increasingly desperate attempts to contact him. According to a coworker who reached out to me, turns out not everyone at the rehabilitation center was blind to what was happening. He'd requested a transfer to their satellite location an hour away. Then came the mediation disaster. Bethany showed up dressed like she was going to church, trying to project devoted mother wrongly accused. 5 minutes in, she dropped her bomb. She was pregnant. The room went silent. Ms. Rodriguez didn't miss a beat. Congratulations. Who's the father? Bethany's lawyer tried to object, but Bethany was already talking. It could be Grant's. I laughed. Genuinely laughed. I was at the Sustainable Agriculture Summit in Nashville during your conception window. 3 days, 2 nights. I have hotel receipts, conference attendance records, and about 200 other farmers who saw my presentation on soil conservation techniques. Her face went white. She tried to backtrack, said the dates might be wrong. She wasn't sure how far along she was. Ms. Rodriguez pulled out the credit card records showing her hotel afternoon with Dustin right in the middle of the probable conception period. My client requests a paternity test as soon as medically viable, Ms. Rodriguez stated calmly. We also request increased custody consideration given Mrs. Morrison's apparent inability to maintain stable relationships and her use of the minor child to facilitate extramarital affairs. Bethany's own parents walked out of the room when that information came out. Her mother, who'd been defending her, left in tears. Her father, a retired Marine who'd always treated me like a son, shook my hand on his way out and said, "I'm sorry, Grant. We didn't raise her to be this way." The mediation ended with Bethany getting supervised visitation every other weekend, pending the full custody evaluation. She has to pick Owen up from the police station parking lot, neutral, public, with cameras. I got exclusive use of the house until it sells. She gets her personal belongings and nothing else thanks to our prenup that I insisted on years ago. Thank God for listening to Paul about that. The prenup is ironclad. I had significant assets from my grandmother's estate when we married. The house down payment came from that inheritance. In case of adultery, the cheating spouse forfeits any claim to premarital assets and inherited funds. Bethany's lawyer tried to challenge it, calling it unconscionable. Ms. Rodriguez reminded them that Bethany had her own lawyer review it before signing and had explicitly agreed to the adultery clause. Last Thursday was Bethany's first supervised visit with Owen. I dropped him off at the station at 5 p.m. Friday, picked him up Sunday at 5 p.m. He was quiet on the drive home. Finally asked if Mom's baby was going to be his sibling. I told him yes, he would have a half-sibling, but that didn't change how much I loved him or our relationship. He thought about it, then asked if we could still go camping next month, just us. I promised we would. That night, after Owen was asleep, I sat in my empty bedroom. I'd thrown out the entire bed, bought a new one, and finally let myself feel the rage. Not hot anger, but cold fury. She didn't just betray me. She used our son. She made him keep secrets. She brought her affair partner into his safe space. She prioritized her selfish desires over his stability and security. Yesterday, I got an interesting call from an unknown number. It was a woman named Patricia. Dustin's wife. Yeah. Wife. Turns out Dustin has been married for 6 years. Has 2 kids, ages 4 and 2. Patricia found out about the affair when Dustin came home panicked about being served as a potential witness in our divorce. She's filing for divorce too and wanted to compare notes. According to Patricia, this isn't Dustin's first affair. He did the same thing at his previous job, which is why they moved here 2 years ago. He targets married women, gets them pregnant, then disappears when consequences show up. He's already interviewing for jobs out of state. Patricia sent me screenshots of texts between Dustin and Bethany from his iPad that he forgot was synced to his messages. There. Illuminating. Plans to meet up. Bethany complaining about me being boring and too focused on being a father instead of a husband. Dustin telling her what she wants to hear about being unappreciated and deserving passion. The most damning message? From Bethany, 3 months ago, I wish Grant would just disappear. Then we could be together without all this sneaking around. My lawyer is thrilled. The custody evaluator has everything. The judge will see it all. Bethany's about to learn what happens when you destroy a family for a fantasy that never existed. Update 2 months later. The truth keeps coming out and she's spiraling. It's been 2 months since everything exploded, and Bethany's life has completely unraveled while Owen and I are building something better from the ashes. First, the Dustin situation. Patricia, his wife, and I have been sharing information through our lawyers. Turns out Dustin didn't just transfer to the satellite location, he quit entirely and moved to Arkansas where his brother lives. Left his wife with 2 kids and a mortgage she can't afford alone. But here's the kicker, before he left, he sent Bethany a cease and desist letter through a lawyer, claiming she was harassing him and threatening to destroy his family. The absolute irony. Bethany, now 4 months pregnant and showing, had a complete meltdown when she got that letter. According to her former coworker who's been keeping me informed, she showed up at Dustin's old apartment complex, banging on doors trying to find him. Someone called the cops. She got a trespassing warning. This all went into our custody file. The forensic accountant found more. Remember that $6,000 in her secret account? Turns out it came from her father. She'd been telling him she was saving for Owen's college fund, and he'd been giving her monthly contributions. When he found out the truth during mediation, he demanded it all back. She'd already spent it on hotels, lingerie, and prenatal vitamins. Her own father is now suing her for fraud. The custody evaluation report came back 2 weeks ago. Dr. Keyes was thorough and devastating. Mother demonstrated pattern of using minor child to facilitate deception. Minor child shows signs of stress related to keeping secrets from father. Father demonstrates consistent, stable parenting with appropriate boundaries. Mother's current living situation, her childhood bedroom at her mother's house, and pregnancy from extramarital affair indicate instability. Recommend primary physical custody to father with supervised visitation for mother until she establishes stable independent housing. The final custody hearing was last Monday. Bethany showed up looking exhausted, her pregnancy obvious, her mother beside her, her father refused to come. She tried to cry on the stand, talking about how she'd made one mistake and shouldn't lose her son because of it. Ms. Rodriguez destroyed her in cross-examination. One mistake? Mrs. Morrison, we have doorbell camera footage of Mr. Reeves at your marital home on 12 separate occasions when your husband was traveling for work. You testified you're a good mother, yet you had your 7-year-old son lie to his father about being sick so you could conduct your affair. Is lying to a parent good mothering? You claim my client was absent, yet school records show he attended 90% of parent-teacher conferences while you attended 30%. How do you explain that? You're currently unemployed, living with your mother, pregnant with another man's child who has abandoned you, and asking for primary custody. What stability are you offering this child? Bethany's lawyer tried damage control, but it was over. The judge awarded me full legal and physical custody with Bethany getting supervised visitation every other Saturday for 6 hours. She has to pay $400 a month in child support once she gets employment. She cannot introduce Owen to any romantic partners without court approval. She cannot have Owen around when the baby is born until she proves stable housing and childcare arrangements. The house sale closed yesterday. After the mortgage and fees, we split about $80,000 in equity. Her half went straight to her lawyer and the credit cards she'd run up. My half went into a new investment account for Owen's future. I found a great 3-bedroom rental closer to Owen's school and my office. It's smaller than our old house but it's ours, no memories of betrayal, no ghosts. Owen picked his room color, green, and we spent last weekend setting up his sports trophies and camping gear. He's doing better, therapy twice a month is helping. His grades have actually improved since we established our new routine. Meanwhile, Bethany's life continues to implode. She got fired from the rehabilitation center 2 weeks ago. Officially for attendance issues, but everyone knows it was about the scandal. She's been interviewing, but being 7 months pregnant with no reference from her last employer isn't going well. Her mother told Paul's girlfriend that Bethany cries constantly, won't prepare for the baby, and keeps saying this is all a nightmare she'll wake up from. She's also been posting increasingly unhinged things on social media. Started with vague quotes about narcissistic abuse and good mothers always win in the end. Escalated to long rants about the legal system being biased against women. Last week she posted a photo of Owen from last Christmas with a caption about alienation of affection and fathers who poison children against loving mothers. I screenshot everything for our file. Her supervised visit last Saturday went poorly. She spent the entire 6 hours crying and trying to get Owen to say he misses her and wants to live with her. The supervisor had to intervene 3 times. Owen told me later he doesn't want to go back. I told him he doesn't have to decide anything right now, we'll take it one visit at a time. The most pathetic part? She sent me a letter last week. 4 pages, handwritten, delivered to my office. Talking about how we could start over, how the baby could be a blessing in disguise, how we could sell it as me being a wonderful man who's raising another man's child. She actually suggested we could tell people the baby was mine and move somewhere new where nobody knows our history. I didn't respond. Just added it to the file labeled evidence of delusional thinking. Patricia, Dustin's ex, called me last week. She's doing well, got her divorce finalized, got full custody, child support, and the house. Dustin tried to claim he couldn't pay because he was unemployed, but the judge imputed income based on his earning capacity. She also told me something interesting. Dustin had texted her asking if she knew whether Bethany had the baby yet because he was worried she might do something crazy like put his name on the birth certificate. The coward is scared of being legally tied to the child he created. Good. Let him sweat. My company has been incredibly supportive through all this. My boss approved a flexible schedule so I can do morning drop-offs and afternoon pickups. My coworkers covered my territory when I needed court days. The farming community is small and word spreads. I've had multiple farmers tell me they respect how I'm handling everything and their wives have been dropping off casseroles like someone died. In a way, I guess something did. Owen and I have developed our new rhythm. Breakfast together every morning. He's learned to make scrambled eggs and is ridiculously proud of it. Homework at the kitchen table while I prep dinner. Bedtime stories have evolved into us reading chapter books together, currently on the 3rd Harry Potter. Saturdays are for baseball practice and grocery shopping. Sundays are our adventure days, hiking, fishing, museums, whatever we feel like. Last Sunday, we were at the park when we ran into one of Bethany's friends from her book club. She looked uncomfortable, started to walk away, then came over. Told me she was sorry for believing Bethany's initial lies, that several of the book club members have cut her off after learning the truth. Said Bethany had been texting everyone about how I'm brainwashing Owen and playing the victim. Nobody's buying it anymore. The best part? Owen asked me last week if we could plan another camping trip for his birthday instead of a party. Just us, 3 nights this time, maybe try a harder hiking trail. He said it's more fun when it's just us because we don't have to worry about anyone else keeping up. He doesn't know it, but that healed something in me. My son choosing our time together over anything else. That's worth more than the marriage I lost. Update 3, 6 months later. She had the baby and everything got worse for her. Half a year. That's how long it's been since my world exploded and rebuilt itself into something I didn't expect, something actually better. But this update isn't about my peace, it's about Bethany's continued descent into consequences she created. She gave birth 5 weeks ago. A girl. She named her Madison, after Dustin's middle name, according to Patricia, who found out through mutual acquaintances. The birth announcement on social media was tragic, a selfie in the hospital bed, alone, with some quote about strong mothers who do it all themselves. 7 likes. 3 were from her MLM Hun friends trying to sell her essential oils for postpartum depression. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up to what's happened since my last update. 3 months ago, Bethany's mother kicked her out. Apparently, Bethany had been refusing to contribute to household expenses, claiming she needed to save for the baby while simultaneously ordering $600 worth of designer baby clothes online. The final straw was when her mother found out Bethany had been telling people her parents were financially abusing her by asking for rent money. Her mother gave her 30 days to find alternative housing. She moved in with a friend from her old book club. That lasted 2 weeks. The friend called me, she got my number from the school directory, to warn me that Bethany had been talking about just showing up to get Owen, claiming I couldn't stop a mother from seeing her child. I immediately got a restraining order modification requiring all exchanges to continue at the police station. She ended up in a studio apartment on the sketchy side of town, the only place that would rent to someone with no job and an eviction from her friend's place. She refused to leave when asked. She's been doing DoorDash and Instacart with her 10-year-old Honda that sounds like it's dying. I know because she delivered groceries to my neighbor last month. The neighbor said she looked exhausted and tried to hand her a card for her pyramid scheme wellness products that help with energy. During this time, her supervised visits with Owen became increasingly erratic. She'd show up late, sometimes not at all. When she did come, she'd spend the time either crying or interrogating Owen about my life. Does Dad have friends over? Does anyone stay overnight? What does he cook for dinner? The supervisor documented everything. Then came the birth. Bethany went into labor alone, drove herself to the hospital. Her mother showed up for the delivery but left shortly after. Her father still won't speak to her. She posted constantly from the hospital, pictures of the baby, complaints about the nurses, passive-aggressive posts about deadbeat dads who abandon their children. Here's where it gets interesting. She put Dustin's name on the birth certificate. Patricia told me Dustin received legal papers 2 weeks ago for paternity establishment and child support. He's fighting it, demanding a paternity test, but everyone knows it's his. He's still in Arkansas, working at a logistics company making half what he made here. Between child support for his 2 kids with Patricia and now potentially Madison, he'll be financially destroyed. Meanwhile, Bethany's been trying to monetize her situation on social media. Started a single mom journey blog that's painful to read. 13 followers, most appear to be bots. She posted a GoFundMe for a brave mother starting over that raised $73, all from her mom's church friends who don't know the full story. Owen hasn't seen the baby. Bethany brought Madison to her last supervised visit without approval. The supervisor immediately ended the visit and reported it to the court. She lost her supervised visits for 2 months as a result. She had a complete meltdown in the police station parking lot, screaming about her rights as a mother while the baby cried in the car seat. Someone filmed it. It went semi-viral on the local community Facebook page with the caption, "This is why you don't do substances, kids." She wasn't on substances, just completely unhinged, but the comments were brutal. 2 weeks ago, I got an unexpected call. Dustin wanted to talk. Against my lawyer's advice, I agreed to a phone call. He was pathetic. Crying about how his life is ruined, how Bethany trapped him, how he never meant for any of this to happen. He actually asked if I could talk to her about not pursuing child support because he can barely afford his existing obligations. I laughed and hung up. He texted me later threatening to tell Owen the truth about everything if I didn't help him. I forwarded it to Ms. Rodriguez, who sent him a beautiful cease and desist letter threatening harassment charges. The school situation has been interesting. Bethany tried to show up for Owen's end-of-year celebration. She's not on the approved pickup list anymore, so the office called me. I arrived to find her in the parking lot with Madison in a stroller, trying to convince the security guard she had a right to see her son perform. Other parents were staring. Owen's teacher discreetly moved him to the back row so he wouldn't see her through the windows. That night, Owen asked me why Mom couldn't come to his school anymore. I explained that the judge made rules to keep everyone safe and following routines, and right now, Mom needs to follow those rules. He accepted it with the resigned wisdom of a child who's learned that adults don't always make sense. Financial karma continues. Bethany's car got repossessed last week. She'd been hiding it at different apartment complexes, but they finally found it. She posted a sob story about single moms being targeted by predatory lenders, conveniently leaving out that she hadn't made a payment in 4 months. She's now doing DoorDash on foot with Madison in a baby carrier, limiting her to a tiny delivery radius. Her legal bills are crushing her. Her lawyer withdrew from representation after she couldn't pay, so she's now representing herself. She filed a motion last month to modify custody that was so legally incoherent the judge asked if she was sure she wanted to proceed. She cried in court about being a victim of the patriarchy and accused me of financial abuse for following the court-ordered support agreement. The judge reminded her that she owes me child support, not the other way around. Meanwhile, Owen and I are thriving. He made the all-star team for baseball. His grades are excellent. His therapist says he's processing everything remarkably well. We went on that birthday camping trip, 4 nights in the mountains. He caught 3 fish, we saw a bear, from a safe distance, and he told me he's glad it's just us guys because we don't have to worry about anyone being unhappy. I've been seeing someone for about 2 months. Her name is Carolyn, she's a pediatric nurse I met at Owen's baseball game, her nephew is on the team. We're taking it extremely slow. She knows my entire situation and has been incredibly patient. Owen doesn't know yet, we've only been on dates when he's with my brother or at friends' houses. I won't introduce them until I'm certain it's serious and stable. He deserves that protection. Last week brought the most recent drama. Bethany's apartment complex sent her an eviction notice for noise complaints. Apparently, Madison has colic and screams for hours. Neighbors have complained repeatedly. She has nowhere to go, her parents won't take her back, she's burned every friendship bridge, and she has no money for a deposit somewhere else. She actually sent me an email asking if she could temporarily move into our old house's garage apartment, which doesn't exist, we never had a garage apartment. When I didn't respond, she sent another saying I was condemning my son's sister to homelessness. I forwarded everything to Ms. Rodriguez. Yesterday was supposed to be her first supervised visit in 2 months. She didn't show up. The supervisor called her, and she said she couldn't afford gas money to get to the station. Owen waited for an hour, then asked if we could go get ice cream instead. We did. He got Retrime Continue Adita double scoop of mint chocolate chip and told me about his science project on ecosystems. He never mentioned his mother once. Later that evening, Paul called me. He'd run into Bethany's father at the hardware store. The man looked broken. He told Paul that he and his wife are considering moving to Florida to live near his sister, to get away from the shame and disappointment of what their daughter has become. He actually apologized to Paul for what Bethany did to our family. Paul said he just looked defeated. The irony of everything isn't lost on me. Bethany threw away a stable marriage, a beautiful home, a devoted husband, and an incredible son for an affair with a serial cheater who abandoned her the moment reality hit. She's now a single mother of an infant, living in poverty, facing eviction, with no support system, while the man she betrayed is moving forward with peace, stability, and happiness. But here's what really gets me, she still doesn't take responsibility. Every post, every email, every court filing, it's always someone else's fault. I'm the villain for protecting Owen. The court is biased for following the law. Dustin is evil for not stepping up, though he is, she chose him. Her parents are cruel for having boundaries. Society is unfair for not rallying around her. Last night, after Owen was asleep, I sat on our back deck looking at the stars. The same stars Owen and I watched on that camping trip that started all of this. I thought about the man I was a year ago, stressed, trying to save a marriage that was already dead, blaming myself for Bethany's unhappiness. That man is gone. In his place is someone I actually like. A father who shows up completely. A man who doesn't tolerate disrespect. Someone who understands that protecting peace is more important than keeping peace. Owen has a stable, happy home. I have my self-respect. We have our routines, our adventures, our inside jokes. Bethany has Madison, her eviction notice, and her delusions. Dustin has child support for 3 kids and a minimum wage job in Arkansas. They destroyed multiple families for their passion, and now they're living with the ashes. Karma isn't always instant, but it's thorough. Final update, 1 year later. Full custody, new beginning, and she's still spiraling. It's been exactly 1 year since I walked into my bedroom and found my wife with another man. 1 year since my life exploded and reformed into something I couldn't have imagined. This will be my final update because, honestly, Bethany is no longer a significant part of our story. She's just background noise in the life Owen and I have built. But first, let me tell you how it all concluded. 3 months ago, Bethany failed to appear for a custody review hearing. Not because she was sick or had an emergency, she simply didn't show up. Her excuse, delivered via email 2 days later, was that she couldn't find childcare for Madison and the system is designed to make mothers fail. The judge was not amused. That absence triggered a series of legal dominoes. The judge ordered a welfare check at her latest apartment, her third in 6 months. The social worker found Madison in a pack and play that hadn't been cleaned in days, 5 empty formula bottles growing mold, and Bethany passed out on a mattress on the floor. Not from substances or alcohol, just complete exhaustion and depression. CPS opened a case. The investigation revealed that Bethany had been leaving Madison with random neighbors while she did delivery gigs, sometimes for 10 to 12 hours at a time. One neighbor, an elderly woman with dementia, had called the police when she forgot she was babysitting and found a strange baby in her apartment. That incident somehow never made it to me, but it was all in the CPS report. They gave her an ultimatum: get stable housing, consistent childcare, and attend parenting classes, or lose custody of Madison. She broke down completely, calling me 17 times that night, leaving voicemails that ranged from begging me to take her back to threatening to disappear with both children to accusing me of orchestrating everything with CPS. Meanwhile, Dustin had been forced to return to Tennessee for his paternity case. The DNA test confirmed what everyone knew: Madison is his. The court ordered $500 monthly child support, retroactive to birth. He showed up to court in a wrinkled suit, claimed he was unemployed, a lie. Patricia had provided proof of his employment in Arkansas, and actually asked the judge if he could sign away his rights to avoid payment. The judge explained that's not how it works and warned him about contempt if he didn't comply. Then Bethany made her biggest mistake yet. She decided to represent herself in our final custody modification hearing. She submitted a 47-page handwritten document that was supposed to be a legal brief but read more like a manifesto. She accused me of everything from psychological warfare to secretly being gay. Her evidence was that I hadn't publicly dated anyone. She didn't know about Carolyn. She claimed Owen was being brainwashed and would need extensive therapy to recover from parental alienation. She demanded full custody, back child support from me, despite owing me $4,800, and that I pay for her to get a house suitable for raising both children. Ms. Rodriguez didn't even need to argue much. The judge read selections from Bethany's filing out loud, occasionally pausing to ask if she was serious about certain claims. Did she really believe I had paid off the entire family court system? Was she actually accusing the custody evaluator of being in a romantic relationship with me? Dr. Keys is a 63-year-old grandmother, happily married for 35 years. The judge's ruling was swift and final. I was granted sole legal and physical custody of Owen. Bethany's visitation was reduced to supervised visits once a month for 4 hours, which she must pay for herself, $50/hour for the supervisor. She cannot petition for custody modification for 2 years unless there's a substantial change in circumstances. Her child support obligation increased to $600 per month once she gains employment. Any violation of the order would result in immediate suspension of all visitation. Bethany stood up in court and called the judge corrupt and said this was proof the system hates mothers. She was escorted out by bailiffs and given a warning about contempt. That was 2 months ago. She's seen Owen exactly once since then. The supervised visit lasted 90 minutes before she started crying so hard the supervisor ended it. Owen told me later that she kept asking him if he hated her, if I talked bad about her, if he loved Madison. He said he just wanted to show her his improved batting stance, but she didn't want to see it. Madison is now in her maternal grandmother's custody temporarily. Bethany agreed to it to avoid having her placed in foster care. Her mother only agreed on the condition that Bethany get mental health treatment and stay away unless invited. Last I heard, She was living in someone's converted garage, still doing food delivery, and posting increasingly incoherent things on social media at 3 a.m. Dustin? He's a ghost. Stopped paying child support after 2 months, got his license suspended, lost his job because he couldn't drive to work, and last Patricia heard, was couch surfing with his enabling mother who insists her son is the real victim in all of this. There's a warrant out for his arrest for contempt of court. He owes Patricia $11,000 in back support and Bethany $3,000. Neither will likely see a dime. But enough about them. Let me tell you about us, the family that survived and thrived. Owen is flourishing. He's 8 now, confident, happy, and secure. His therapist cleared him to reduce sessions to once a month, just check-ins. His grades are outstanding. He's the starting pitcher on his little league team and just got accepted into the advanced mathematics program at school. He built a solar system model for the science fair that won second place in the district. He rarely mentions his mother anymore. When he does, it's matter of fact. Mom couldn't come to my game or mom lives somewhere else now. No anger, no sadness, just acceptance. His therapist says he's processed the loss remarkably well, understanding at his level that sometimes adults make choices that break families, and it's not his fault. Carolyn and I have been together 8 months now. I introduced her to Owen 3 months ago, very carefully, as Dad's friend who likes baseball too. They bonded over discussing pitcher strategies. She's never tried to be his mom, just a caring adult in his life who happens to make his dad smile. Owen told me last week that he likes when Carolyn comes to his games because she cheers really loud and brings the good snacks. We're taking things slow, but it's serious. She stays over sometimes when Owen is at Paul's for sleepovers with his cousins. She's shown me what a healthy relationship actually looks like: communication, respect, shared values, and no secret bank accounts or afternoon mentoring sessions. I got promoted last month. Regional Director of Agricultural Extension Services. It comes with a significant raise and, ironically, less travel. I'm home every night for dinner, every morning for breakfast. Owen and I have a tradition now: Sunday meal prep together. He's gotten quite good with a vegetable peeler and takes pride in his famous salad dressing, ranch with a secret ingredient, it's extra garlic powder. We moved again, but by choice this time. Found a perfect house in a better school district, with a huge backyard that backs up to woods. Owen has a treehouse that he and I built together over 3 weekends. He calls it his fortress of solitude. We've been reading Superman comics. There's a telescope up there for star watching and a basket he can pull up with snacks and books. The house is 15 minutes from Paul's place, and Owen has grown closer to his cousins. They're like siblings now. Paul's been my rock through everything, and his girlfriend Ronnie has become like a sister to me. They're getting married next summer, and Owen is going to be a groomsman alongside Paul's boys. My relationship with Bethany's parents has evolved into something unexpected. Her father reached out 6 months ago, asking if he could still have a relationship with Owen. I agreed, with conditions. They see him once a month, just them, no Bethany. They take him to the zoo, museums, lunch. They never discuss his mother beyond "she loves you but is going through adult problems." They've respected every boundary and have actually become a stable, positive presence in Owen's life. Her father told me last month, with tears in his eyes, that I'm the son-in-law he wished he'd always had, and he's sorry his daughter couldn't see what she had. He said watching me raise Owen with such devotion while Bethany self-destructs has been the hardest thing he's experienced as a father. They're still planning to move to Florida eventually, but want to maintain their relationship with Owen through video calls and visits. The financial recovery has been better than expected. Without Bethany's spending and with my promotion, I've rebuilt our savings. Owen's college fund is growing. The house sale and investment decisions have set us up well. I even started a small side consulting business helping local farms with grant applications, which brings in extra income and keeps me connected to the farming community I love. But the best part? The peace. The absolute peace of a drama-free life. No checking phone records, no wondering about extra shifts, no walking on eggshells. Just consistency, routine, and joy. Owen and I have inside jokes. We have our favorite restaurants where the staff knows us. We have Saturday morning pancake traditions and Wednesday night homework parties with his friends. I'm at peace with Bethany now. Not forgiveness, she's never asked for it or shown genuine remorse, but acceptance. She was a chapter in my life that taught me valuable lessons: trust your instincts, maintain boundaries, protect what matters, and never apologize for requiring respect. Her betrayal led me to become a better father, a stronger man, and ultimately, a happier person. Owen asked me a profound question last week while we were fishing at our favorite spot. "Dad, Do you think Mom is happy? I thought carefully before answering. I don't know, buddy. I hope she finds peace someday. I hope so too, he said. Then, after a pause, but I'm glad we're happy now. We are happy, right, Dad? Yeah, buddy. We really are. And we are. Despite everything, or maybe because of it, we built something better from the ruins. Owen has stability, love, and a father who will never let him doubt his worth. I have my son, my integrity, and a future that looks nothing like I planned but everything like it should be. Bethany has her consequences. Dustin has his warrants. And Owen and I? We have each other and a life filled with camping trips, baseball games, Sunday dinners, and the kind of peace that comes from surviving the storm and finding sunshine on the other side. This is my final update because there's nothing left to tell about the disaster. Only the success story that came after. Thank you all for following our journey. Hold your loved ones close, trust your instincts, and never settle for less than respect. Grant and Owen, signing off. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.